Well, welcome friends. So today in this video, we're going to exclusively look about the problems faced by petroleum engineers to get their entry-level oil and gas jobs, and obviously the probable solutions to have a prospering career. This video is for all petroleum engineers through all around the globe. Since I'm from India, it will be correlated towards an Indian scenario. Okay, let's get into the topic. See friends, based on my analysis, as I've came across all the pressures and all the problems which you are facing, which you have been faced. Okay, so based on my analysis, I would say there are three main reason. Okay, so the point number one is about the course which we have chosen is a narrow down one. It focuses only towards oil and gas exploration and production. So you won't be exposed to other industry. You don't have other fundamental knowledges what other engineering students used to be. Okay, so you'll be concentrating only towards where is oil and gas reserves, and how profitably you can produce it, how profitably you can make it as a commercial product. So this is what you'll be learning through all your 4 or 5 years of your academia. Okay, for example, if you get into oil and gas industry, you would find most of the decision making designations are taken by students who are from mechanical, electrical or civil engineering background, as these departments are evergreen courses. Being as a student from mechanical department or being as a graduate in these departments, you can get into different industries, not only in construction or not only in FMCG. You can be in oil and gas industry, energy industry, etc. and etc. Okay, so this is the first and fundamental reason for the unemployment of petroleum engineers in India and also through all around the world. Okay, so the problem number two, the reason behind this unemployment problem, okay, is the demand and supply. In initial stages, when petroleum engineers is offered by only one university, there was no problem. Since there are only 30 to 40 students in one class, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation used to recruit those students directly. Later on as days pass, right at present in current scenario, there are more than 80 plus institutions which offer petroleum engineering. And guys, believe me, in good numbers, most of the institutions are not properly accredited, as they don't have qualified teachers, don't have qualified laboratories. So I would say that this is also one of the ultimate reason. When you have more number of institutions, they make education as a business. This system has the biggest flaw. So making education as a business will cause an unemployment problem in any kind of nation, either it's in America or whatever be the country it is. If you make education as a business, if you don't provide a quality education, definitely a student is gonna face a problem. Okay, so this is the point number two, the problem number two. So point number three is pretty correlating towards the point number two. The students who are graduated as a petroleum engineer, they are lacking in a quality and the skill required by those oil and gas production companies, production and exploration companies. This is also ultimately it falls towards the institution, the system which is exclusively designed to make education as a business. So this is a biggest ever reason behind the failure of petroleum engineers. You are not supposed to make education as a business when there are some institutions who don't have proper accreditation excuse me, who don't have proper accreditation or proper laboratories and not at all a qualified faculties. So this creates a biggest problem. I've been there in I've been in a local institution. There are some local institution which does good, but still when it comes to big players, they are not in the competition, they're not in the race. But still there are some small institution which does good. And I would say that even students should take an individual efforts. I'm coming from a local institution which supports for an interested students. So if a student has an individual efforts and passion to grow, definitely he or she gonna look out for the better opportunities. So it ultimately falls on the student. But when there is a support from a university system, so you'll be in a better position than what you are right now. Okay, so these are the three major problems or reasons behind the pressure and unemployment problem faced by petroleum engineers to get their first opportunity. Okay, so before getting into solutions, I would like to have some points on current scenario, what these recent petroleum engineers used to do. I've came across some of my seniors and some of my colleagues. They go for Emirates for getting a job search. I mean, not only for Emirates, through all over Middle East countries. They go over there as a visit visa, and they'll just go through all the companies, give the CVs in every company. They go through, even they go for a receptionist. They go and give the CV to a receptionist. Guys, just think about it. You always have to be as in a two-way traffic. So just think in an employer point of view. Unless and until you're not gonna be profitable for them, they're not gonna hire you. So if maybe one or two might get an employment offer just because of recommendation is not a good way to reach a good career heights. Unless and until you're not getting a career opportunity through your hard work, it's not gonna be a worth of it. My perspective, maybe it differs for each and every one. Okay, so even if you're going for Emirates or any Middle East countries, just develop your skill sets and just think about in an employer point of view, you can achieve it. So you can have some better opportunities rather than going to Middle East. Just taking your CV and going over there is not gonna work it out. So you have to look at some better options. So we'll discuss in solutions parameter. Okay, so and also the major reason why I would like to talk about the current scenario is about the roughneck. I've seen most of the petroleum engineers have opted for roughneck designation. Guys, I would request you, please don't take this designation. If you're getting into as a roughneck, you're not gonna have a good career growth. There are some companies which try to convince students that if you get into oil and gas industry as a roughneck, then after 5 years you will get a job as a drilling engineer. Guys, these people are really an unwanted people in the community which does business with the education. So if you are into a roughneck, believe me, one or two might be at that position, but there are thousands and thousands who are still working as a roughneck or floorman. They have been graduated as a petroleum engineer, but still they are working as a roughneck. See, if you are not good with your skills, take a break and try to develop your skills. You'll get the job. So, but don't go with these roughneck opportunities. It is not gonna work for it. I've been heard from lots of my seniors who have been into these designations. They are crying like anything. Okay, so if you are an 80 kgs, you're getting into a roughneck job. After your 2 months, you'll be like in a 50 kgs. You're gonna fire it up for 30 kgs. So believe me, even I would like to put this point. I've met one of the HR from a top oil and gas company. She just simply said that once you're been into a job for a physical work, you're not gonna be mentally qualified. So you're not gonna again consider for a professional designation. So once you are a roughneck, you're always gonna be in a physically working designation. So okay, so just try to be vigilant and try to be at a good position, take a good decisions and try to go for good designations. Okay, and let's get into the solution. Guys, solutions are very simple. So there are some 5 to 6 solutions. So first I would like to tell you, those students who are about to join petroleum engineering course, guys, please go for top 4 universities. I would like to name it out: UPS, PDPU, MIT Pune, and obviously ISM Dhanbad. So these 4 universities are the best option if you want to get a petroleum engineering degree from India. Still there are some small institutions which does good. As I've said earlier, it is not up to the mark when it comes to this big players. Okay, so this is the first option for those who are gonna get into petroleum engineering. And for those students who have got admitted into a petroleum engineering course, try to have a strong internship and apprentice, okay, for a 1 year. And internships are not the one which you have to pay $10,000 and get an internship certificate or internship experience. These internships are not gonna worth of it. Okay, so internship is the one which is maybe like more than 45 days would be better. So an employer should pay you 10,000 or $20,000. That is a highly considerable one, because your employer is not gonna pay you unless and until you're not a profitable one for them. Okay, so even these internships are highly considerable when it comes to interview sessions or whatever it is for your future career prospect. Okay, so hope you could understand it and just try to catch some better internship offers. There are lots of schemes from central government and also the public sector companies, and also even the private companies are preferring for internship, as there are lots of rules from the central government. Okay, so the solution number three. So I would like to put this point for the students who have been graduated or looking for the job. Guys, if you couldn't get a job, try to look for an internship. There are internship offers for 3 to 6 months in a top tier companies like Schlumberger, Halliburton, and Bakers. If you're not getting a job in even a small company or a big company, if you could get a job, I mean an internship job in Schlumberger for 3 to 6 months, it's highly recommendable. You know, you could get easily 20 to 30,000 bucks per month. On top of it, you'll get a good prospering career. That is important. You'll be exposed to different departments in oil and gas industry. That is always recommendable. So always, even after graduating, try to look for internship. If you could get an internship in a good venture, it is always recommendable, and that will create your path. Okay, so hope this point is really important for those students who are looking for job opportunities. And point number four is just go for E&P events. You know, even I'm a recent graduate, so during my academia from 2015 to 2019, I've been there to lots of oil and gas conference in India, in Asian Pacific region, and MENA region. So even this year in 2019, I've been there in Petrotech 2019. You know, that gives a great exposure through all over oil and gas industry, all around the world. I was about to say all around the world. You would be prompted to meet lots of leaders. You know, I've been there as a technical speaker, so it was a really phenomenal opportunity. As we have told, participate in oil and gas events. You know, this gives you networkings. Through networkings, you'll get to know about what are the recent opportunities that we are going to get. I myself have been part of, as I've told that I've been part of Russian Petroleum Technology Conference, and I've been as a speaker in Petrotech 2019 and other extra lots of events through all over India and other parts of the world. I've been there. So I've got lots of contacts. Like for example, I've met Qatar Gas CEO and top companies. Most of them. I've met lots of people in Weatherford, Schlumberger, Halliburton, Bakers, etc., 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 etc. So this gives you good knowledge. Once it's important that when you negotiate or when you have a conversation with the people, with the person, you'll get to know a lot from him. So it's always good to be there, and also not just as a delegate, just go as a speaker. That gets a respect for you. So just do your projects, work on your projects, and get published over there. So that is always good. So that is the most important point that I would like to suggest it for my juniors or those who are getting into a BTech in petroleum engineering. Just prepare yourself, just have innovative ideas, just have out of box thinking, and try to get into the market. For that, first you have to present it to the whole world. For that, you just have to go and present in front of the whole oil and gas industry. That is important. So the next option is, don't take all this tension. Once you have completed your BTech, if you're not getting a job, go take a break of 1 year, as I've told earlier. Prepare for your GATE exam. Petroleum engineering GATE exam is pretty easy when compared to other departments, as you have only 2500 competitors. Maximum it would be 2500. This year, in 2019 gate, there are only 2030, 2030 numbers were written. So last year it was like 2300 something. So maybe maximum you would get 2500 or 3000. So it's always good, prepare for your gate exam. Obviously you'll get, there are 200 plus vacancies in ONGC. So if you're getting a good top 100 ranks, then you can have a good job. And moreover, if not ONGC, you can get other central government jobs or other companies in HPCL, BPCL, for quality check officer, quality control engineer. For these, petroleum engineers are always considerable for that particular designation. You can go for it. If all these are not successful, the only option is for job search. For searching job, there are some best ways. Don't go for consultancies. In my previous video I've been told about it, so look out that video to how to search a job and not to become a prey of a consultancy. So, and also there are some job opportunities for petroleum engineers. Don't concentrate only for oil and gas company. There are lots of client companies by means of management, by means of internal audit, by means of service companies also comes under technical basis. So you can go for management consulting companies like BCG, McKinsey, IHS Market. So these companies are a management consulting company. Okay, just go and try to find out. There are some entry level vacancies which is called as analyst. IHS Market is a company which has almost 7,000 analysts through all over the world. They are providing a data support of market analysis of our oil and gas industry. They recruit petroleum engineers in huge numbers, and even there are firms, internal audit firms, who exclusively do for oil and gas companies. They hire petroleum engineers. So you can have all these perks. Go, just Google it, or have a contact in these companies and apply for it. Definitely, even this year there are some management companies, they had a recruitment in UPS and PDPU. So obviously you can get a good job if you know this opportunities. These opportunities are pretty unknown to lots of people, so they always search for job offers in oil and gas companies. Even these are companies who has oil and gas department in huge numbers. They have almost 100 members working in oil and gas department. So go for it. And third option is go for an MBA, and most important, in a more reputed institution which has a good placement. Go for MBA in IIMs, or if not RGIPT, if not other reputed institutions which has good placement, good faculties and good infrastructure. Go for it. So because once you have MBA in either oil and gas management, oil and gas, please don't prefer for oil and gas management if you have done a petroleum engineer, because it again gets you into more narrow down. Do do if you're doing an MBA, do it in marketing or do it in operations and management, do it in finance. This gives you a good combination, and experience and knowledge with oil and gas industry with management degree. It gives you good diversification. You can get a good job opportunities in same oil and gas companies at decision making designations. So go for MBA. This gives you good diversification. So okay, if you have any question or any queries, just do comment below, so I would be answering to all of your questions. Thanks a lot for watching my video.